The fact that a criminal like him can hang up his shingle in broad daylight says a lot about Santa Esperanza. Interesting taste. Been centuries since a gardener visited this house. Maybe Boccarini's business isn't going too well. Boccarini? Carlo Boccarini?
Nothing of interest out back. Sorry. You better come see this, Mr. Ness.
What is it?
I don't know how to describe it. Is that our man?
Boccarini.
My God.
We have to find out who did this, and why. Let's go.
You're the detective, Mr. Ness. Besides, Alfonso will want to see this. I'll be right back.
All right. I have to establish how Boccarini died. Maybe the body parts can shed some light on the motive. The blood comes from the other side of the corridor and ends next to the body. He was attacked in the other room and dragged to the hall. The evidence suggests that the events began in the lounge. How did Boccarini encounter his murderer? Whatever crushed the table must have been really heavy, or maybe it was thrown extremely hard. Fingernails scratched the wood. Blood ran like water. A perfectly circular dint, as if someone had tried to hammer in a gigantic bolt, around 4 inches in diameter. Blood. Blood everywhere. What kind of person takes off a wristwatch without unfastening it? Or fastens the strap again after taking it off? Did it break during the struggle, or was it already broken? This was opened recently. Smells of whiskey. Glass on the floor indicates the window was broken from outside. There's something under there. How'd it wind up under there? Not one round fired. It must have happened fast. One knife's missing, the biggest one. What is it with Italians and olives? They lap those things up like caviar. Like a true bachelor, he should have put these into soak. Hours of scraping to get them clean. Although at this stage I don't think Boccarini's too worried about that. 4 glasses. 2 of water, 2 of wine. I've always been a whiskey man, but I know a good wine when I see one. Leftover lasagna, and it looks good. Why is it that 2 out of 3 Italian gangsters are great cooks? I'll never understand what the deal is with them and cooking. The plates and the glasses leave no room for doubt. Boccarini had company for dinner. Shut from the inside. How did Boccarini encounter his murderer? Pieces of glass from the window in the hall, found inside the house. A pistol, fully loaded. Dirty plates, glasses, and silverware from a dinner for 2. Pieces of glass from the window in the hall, found inside the house. A pistol, fully loaded. A broken whiskey glass found in the dining room. Dirty plates, glasses, and silverware from a dinner for 2. The trail of blood from the dining room to the hall. A door in the kitchen, locked from the inside. A broken whiskey glass found in the dining room. How did Boccarini encounter his murderer? The trail of blood from the dining room to the hall. An open bottle of whiskey. I'd say Boccarini was drinking in the dining room when his assailant burst in through the window. Boccarini pulled his gun, but the murderer disarmed him before he could shoot. Where did the torture begin? 2 pools of blood, one on either side of the dining room table. A blood-stained wristwatch with a glass broken and a strap. A broken table, scratched and covered in blood. The bloodstains show that the murderer began to torture Boccarini on the dining table itself. That was where his hands were torn off. As a result, his wristwatch fell to the ground. How did the body reach its current position? The trail of blood from the dining room to the hall. Dirty plates, glasses, and silverware from a dinner for 2. A broken whiskey glass found in the dining room. A door in the kitchen, locked from the inside. How did the body reach its current position? Maybe the body parts can shed some light on the broken whiskey glass found in the dining room. Dirty plates, glasses, and silverware from a dinner. A door in the kitchen, locked from the inside. Holy Christ, what the hell are we up against? His eyes were pulled clean out of their sockets. Whoever did this, it wasn't their first time. And if they committed any other murders like this, it's likely that the police found some of the bodies. I must remember to ask Alice. His teeth were all pulled out before he was killed. The buildup of blood inside his mouth speaks for itself. This isn't a cut, it's a tear. His hands were ripped off. Who has that kind of strength? Pity he won't last till Christmas, because he'd almost pass for a tree. There's no doubt the murderer took his time. Once he got stuck in there, looks like the bottom of a glass. It's Boccherini, no doubt about that. Although the one I remember was more together. Boccherini's teeth were all pulled out. The murderer tore Boccherini's hands off. Boccherini's teeth were all... How did... Boccherini's teeth were all pulled out. The murderer tore Boccherini's hands off. Hands ripped off, teeth torn out. I guess I'll have to rule out criminal intent or a personal angle. Boccherini's eyes still haven't shown up. What if I look for whatever was used to remove them? What looks like the bottom of a broken glass buried in Boccherini's back. A broken whiskey glass found in the dining room. What looks like the bottom of a broken glass buried in... A door in the kitchen, locked from the inside. A broken whiskey glass found... Takes a strong man to tear that out. Or several. Jammed shut from the inside. Maybe between the two of us when Milton gets back. If I'm not mistaken, this door opens onto the same room as the locked door in the kitchen. Blood and some kind of sticky liquid. I should have stayed in my diner. Are these teeth from the body? Well, at least I know why his teeth were pulled out, more or less. What is that? A teaspoon stained with blood and some kind of sticky liquid. A sick altar of human flesh. Some kind of symbol drawn in blood. A teaspoon stained with blood and some kind of mixture of sticky liquid and blood can only mean one thing. The spoon was used to remove Boccarini's eyes. The mutilations and the disappearance of his eyes suggest two possible motives. Psychopathy or cultist fanaticism. Which is it? A sick altar of human flesh. Some kind of symbol drawn in blood. Although I don't know the origin of the symbol in the bathroom and the altar of flesh and teeth, I'd say the motive was some kind of occult religion. The big question is, who did it? A door in the kitchen, locked. The lamp, torn off its brackets. Boccarini, already minus hands, was dragged into the hall, where the murderer used the brackets of the lamp to complete his macabre diorama. Looks like a ritual. What was Boccarini mixed up in? This car looks too classy for a forger like Boccarini. Are there sufficient reasons to believe that when the murderer attacked Boccarini, there was someone else in the house? The first possibility to be ruled out is that the car belonged to Boccarini. A door in the kitchen. Dirty plates, glasses. Let's take a look in the glove compartment. Bingo! A man's cigarette case. OB, one of the Boccarini clan? Vermont plates. Someone drove a long way. The initials OB on a cigarette case. A car with Vermont plates. 1. It has Vermont plates. 2. It's too luxurious for a criminal of his standing. 3. The initials on the cigarette case don't match his name. The next possibility that needs to be ruled out is that the car was stolen. There should be evidence that there was someone else in the house. A door in the kitchen, locked. What looks like the bottom. Dirty plates, glasses, and silverware from it. The dirty dishes and glasses prove that Boccarini ate lasagna with one other person. Was Boccarini's guest still in the house when the murderer showed up? A door in the kitchen, locked from the... A broken whiskey glass found in the dining room. A door in the corridor. It opened a door in the kitchen. What looks like the bottom of a broken glass seems clear that Boccarini and his guest were drinking when the murderer took them by surprise. The real question is, what happened to the witness? Did they escape? Did the murderer take them? Or are they still in the house? A door in the corridor jammed shut. A door in the kitchen, locked from the inside. One locked door could be a coincidence, but two locked doors which open onto the same room can't be. Either I'm completely wrong, or the witness is in that room. But I need Milton to open one of those doors.
Mr. Ness, can you open the door for me?
It was open. Why did you ring?
I thought I should use the doorbell, so I wouldn't startle you.
I didn't notice there was a doorbell.
Says the man Milton had left in charge of an important investigation. So, what can you tell me to restore my faith in you as a detective?
What is that?
Not a good start. It's a camera, so Alphonse can see all this.
All right. Follow me. Boccarini had company for dinner. Someone from Vermont with the initials OB. Someone whose social status was a lot higher, but who was on the same side of the law. He served lasagna, and after clearing away the dishes, they opened a bottle of whiskey in the dining room. That was when the murderer burst in on them, coming through the window which he broke with his own body weight. Boccarini, or maybe his guest, pulled a gun, but it was a waste of time. The murderer was so fast he was disarmed before he could fire. He focused his attention on Boccarini, totally ignoring the guest, and lifted him up into the air. He then threw him against the dining room table so hard that one of the glasses of whiskey was embedded in Boccarini's back. He span around, clawing at the table, and immediately afterwards the murderer ripped off his hands. I have no idea how he did it, but all the evidence suggests he just pulled. Blood sprayed everywhere. The wristwatch fell to the ground. He dragged him through the corridor into the hall. He tore down the lamp, hung him from the brackets, and stabbed steel rods through his body. He skewered him on the iron bars, possibly taken from the fence outside, and pulled out his teeth one by one. Then he pulled his teeth out one by one as he died. Finally, he scooped out his eyes with a teaspoon. Boccarini must have been dead when the murderer went to the bathroom with his hands in his teeth. There, he arranged them to make an altar, weaving the fingers together and placing the teeth inside. Next, he painted something on the wall in blood, a symbol which I don't recognize, but which could have some kind of ritualistic significance. When he'd finished his artwork, he left. I don't know what he did with the eyes.
You're telling me that someone did all this armed with a teaspoon?
More or less.
And you worked all this out on your own, just by looking?
More or less.
I don't know which of the two of you scares me more. Wait a second. What about the guest?
Right. Come with me. Nothing.
Turns out Mr. Untouchable isn't infallible. But you were close. Congratulations.
This must be Boccarini's office. Let's take a quick look around.
All yours.
Jesus, there's at least $1 million here.
Boccarini's?
I'd be surprised. Probably his guests, and I doubt it was to pay Boccarini for his services. None of his forgeries are worth that much. Carlo, I have the goods for OB, but I have to take the children to school tomorrow and I can't make the meetup. Friday, same time, same place. It's signed NI.
These initials are getting to be a pain in the ass, right?
I have to take the kids to school tomorrow. I don't think this is some loving divorced daddy, Milton.
I take back what I just said.
The driver's license of one John Martinson and Osmond Burke. OB.
Do we know him?
The eldest son of the richest family in Vermont, convicted rapist. He was arrested thanks to the testimony of his father, who wound up disinheriting him. He escaped from prison last week. He broke into the family home and slit the throats of all his relatives one by one, opened the safe and got away with a fortune.
They don't make jails like they used to. All starting to add up, isn't it?
Out of my way! Out! Out!
Milton! Milton!
You're doing fine on your own, Mr. Ness. I believe in you.
God! Get out! Get out of my way, I said! He's coming back!
Who's coming back?
Him! The monster!
The guy who killed Boccarini?
He was a monster! Oh, get your hands off me, Negro!
What was he like? Describe him for me.
It was a monster. Red and black. I mean, his head reached the ceiling. He tore off his hands with his claws! It was a monster! A monster!
Should I hit him again?
Burke, shut up. You're Osmond Burke, right?
Yes.
Good. Now pay attention, Burke, because I have a question for you. Who is this money for?
Nikolai Ivankov.
Rings a bell.
One of Capone's right-hand men 20 years ago. What does this stuff about kids mean?
I don't know.
Calm down, Burke. You were going to meet up with him, right?
Yes, at the docks, berth 42, right next to where the alligator 3 is moored.
So what's the meetup time?
Tomorrow at noon. Tomorrow.
Tomorrow? No. It's going to be tonight. Don't get too comfortable. We'll be there in no time. The cops in Santa Esperanza aren't as straight as the cops in Vermont. Even so, I think they'll be delighted to see you at the station.
I'm afraid not, Mr. Ness. I have to take him to Alphonse.
Out of the question. I know his temper. He'll beat him to a pulp.
Listen, if the missing girl was your granddaughter, you wouldn't forgive me if I didn't let you see the only suspect who could lead us to her.
Okay.
Elliot?
Ah, Delphine.
Oh, thank God you're here. The lights were off, so I thought that... I'm sorry. I got out of the hospital late, then I went to the station to pick up Jim's check, and when they told me... I'm scared.
Of what?
What are you drinking?
It's only juice. Juice and nothing else.
Breathe on me. You heard me. Don't lie to me, Elliot. Especially not now. No! You knew!
Knew about what?
What's that gun doing there?
A guy I know is having trouble with a two-bit mafioso. He asked me to go with him, just in case. I didn't have to get it out.
Well, don't. Don't start taking on the Mafia. Not now. You really don't know?
No, I don't know. And if you keep up the guessing games, I'll never know.
He's back.
Who?
Him. I don't know why it still surprises me, but it's incredible that you were such a good detective, and yet you've never been able to understand people. Capone got out of jail.
Where'd you hear that?
Chief Jenkins.
Chief Jenkins? The same guy who said he was going to clean up Santa Esperanza, right? In that case, you can rest assured Capone just put on his striped pajamas, and in 4 minutes' time, he'll be snoring in his cell.
Elliot, what if it's true? If he's out, what's the first thing he's going to do? Who does he hate more than anyone?
He spent almost 20 years in jail. Capone's an old man. If he gets out, at most he's going to challenge me to a race to the nearest park bench.
Please, Elliot, don't joke. You're the only part of Jim's life that I have left. If you put yourself in danger, I'm fine. Thanks.
My hand? I burnt it cooking. Fried eggs are the devil's work.
What's going on, Elliot? We're closed.
Can you wait outside for a couple of minutes, Milton?
Sure, of course. Although, I'm sorry to say, but we're short on time.
Elliot.
Come in, Milton, come in. Delphine, I'll tell you later. Now...
You said you'd never treat me like that again. I'm glad I could confirm that you're okay.
No, and it's none of your business.
Sorry to butt in. I've brought your rapist costume for the party. Seriously, you're not...
No, she's the wife of a friend who died in the line of duty, Jim Dockers.
Alphonse told me about him.
Your Alphonse killed him.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mr. Ness. Although he's not the same man he was. Anyway, isn't the deal with marriage until death do us part?
It's not that simple. There are other factors. Delphine and I have been friends a long time, and I don't have many friends. I can't risk losing her.
Right. So you like her, but you don't have the nerve.
Oh yeah? What would you do?
Women have never been one of my priorities.
I'm sorry.
Forget it. Shit. You screwed Alphonse good, didn't you?
I don't think he holds it against me this far down the line. He's a new man now, right?
Did you enjoy it?
I'm a cop. Correction, I was a cop. You do the job you're given. End of story.
I hear you. But you didn't finish the next job they gave you. Did they find those kids?
No. How do I look?
Like the invisible man in the movie. No one's gonna buy it.
Take it easy. Everything's going to work out fine.
So, everything's gonna work out fine, huh? You sure it's here?
Relax. It's just a little further. Just follow me.
This plan is suicidal. We're gonna die.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. And may I ask why?
It's not the first time I've done a job like this, and I never was any good at getting killed.
There's a first time for everything, my friend.
Milton, if you go on contradicting me, you're not going to get into your role. Don't forget, while we're here, you're supposed to be at my beck and call.
While we're here.
Hear that? Not bad.
A white boy who likes the blues. What's next? You gonna let the black man vote?
Hey, you. Where do you think you're going?
I'm here to see your boss, so do your job.
What did you just say, you freak?
Well, we tried being polite.
Kick him in the balls, honey.
It'd be my pleasure, Sweetie Chops.
Dakota.
Yeah, my pleasure, Miss Dakota.
Maybe you can kick me in the balls, but not him. I gelded him myself, like an ox. You can't imagine the kind of strength that gives. He could split your chest with a single headbutt.
And anyone else who gets in your way, Mr. Burke.
Ah, you got one of those uppity Negroes, I see.
If he's like that with me, think what he'd do with you.
What the fuck? Who the hell do you think you are?
I'm Osmond Burke, and I have an appointment with your boss.
You're Burke. Why didn't you say so before? Come on in.
What is that thing?
You really want to know? Better off not asking.
It's supposed to be here.
Where's the ship?
Looking for someone?
We arranged to meet Nikolai Ivankov at berth 42, but it looks like the ship isn't moored here. Has she set sail?
It isn't moored? Maybe she's sunk to the bottom of the ocean.
You know that we punish children who behave badly, don't you? Yesterday, it was Juliet who behaved badly. Do you remember?
Uh-huh.
She hit Junior so she would finish ahead of him in the morning race. Do you know what we did to her?
Mm-mm.
Don't worry. You'll find out soon enough. Which do you prefer? The doll or the plush toy? Ago, Mickey bit Tom so he could take his food. Do you know what we did with him?
Bruno says you killed him.
Bruno says many things. Which do you prefer, blonde hair or brown? And today, you tried to escape. Do you know what the difference is?
No.
Juliet and Mickey hurt their friends so that we would not punish them. You tried to escape, but you did not harm your friends. On the contrary, you tried to help Bruno, putting your own life in danger. Very few children would do that. We are going to punish you. But in a different way than Juliet and Mickey. Bruno, on the other hand, did something very similar to them. He betrayed you to avoid being punished.
I'm sorry.
Which of these two drawings do you like best?
I'm sorry.